Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini Om Shri Krishna Chaitanya Maha Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Is my mic fine? Is my screen flickering or anything? Would you please confirm, please? Because I just had some disturbance on my screen here.
Mic is fine, but we can't see the current screen in the current slide.
Okay, do you see it now? Okay, so I believe people are getting replies on the chat that you're already seeing the screen. That's right. So how many of you implemented yesterday? How many do you have? You did 11 times chanting. You took a break yesterday and then you did 11 times chanting. Maybe you can type on the slide. Maybe there's someone who says yes. Okay, Krishna Bharti. Priya, I see 2 people responding to it. Others, did you implement something? Someone cut down your time on your mobile phones? Yeah, I think we've got another couple of people who have said yes. So did you find some change? Keshav says yes. Okay, let's see. So what we saw. So the first chapter we saw, Arjuna is confused. He doesn't want to fight, right? Second chapter we saw, Krishna tells him why he has to fight. And he gave him all the reasons for all his confusions. But Arjuna being Arjuna, he's still not convinced. So he says, Bhagavan, give me some more details of it. Help me understand better. So that's what we do, right? Once the teacher teaches in the class, he has already taught us what he had to teach. But what do? We don't understand everything. We go read it again. We again go back to the teacher. We again go back to our friends. We keep doing this. That's how it is happening here. So Arjuna is still not convinced that it is okay to fight. He is expected to fight. So now Krishna says, Krishna will break down each and every point in different chapters. Okay? So each and everything that he wants to tell him, he'll tell him across all the chapters. Now the third chapter is Karma Yoga. Okay? So how do you realize God? Okay? So there are 3 stages of realizing God. So one is Brahman. Brahman is the big light, so the whole universe. Okay, one is the big universe, and there's a small image where you see that probably that's the God. Okay, this is the 3 stages of realization of God. So when you have a complete brightness, and you still say like there's so much of light, it's like the sun. You see the sun, and then there's all brightness all over. Okay, that's how we first realize. We realize, okay, God is going to be a complete of like a big area of light, and that's where small place where Bhagavan is going to be. Then we get this Narayana form. So then we realize, okay, God is in his this form. We see it in photographs, we see it in pictures, we see them in the different animations that they've been given. So God has 4 legs, 8 hands. 2 legs, 4 hands, 8 hands, multiple hands, 4 heads. All these are being given, right? So here you see the image of God in the Narayana form, where he is with 2 legs and 4 hands. This is the common, right? This is the common way we are looking at, right? So we see Bhagavan as God as in the Narayana form. But what happens is actually when you get associated, when you actually get attached to the God, attached to God, and then you start realizing God as a human being. So like you human form. So you get attached to him as human form. You start, imagine tomorrow you wake up and you see Narayana by your side. Okay? And Narayana just standing next to you and said, like, come on, tell me what do you want. So you are not going to be happy to see God by that way. Rather, you are going to be frightened, right? How many of you agree? Imagine someone comes suddenly tomorrow morning when you wake up, or today morning when you wake up, you see God standing next to you with four hands, and then say like, come on, tell me what do you want. Are you going to be happy or you're going to be fearful by that time?
Happy.
I'm sorry? You don't know his, yeah. See, but you don't know his God. Okay, you just see someone who's got four hands, four heads. We are not going to be, I don't think we are going to be happy that way. Okay? Only when you know his God, you are going to be happy. You don't know his God. Someone is just standing there with four hands. We will not be happy. We'll be scared rather. But imagine if someone who is in the form of Krishna, who's in the God form, okay, who's the God himself in the form of a human being with two hands, two legs, beautiful face, okay, with all that when he comes, what happens? So then you're not so scared. You're just looking at, okay, some stranger has come in. Let me check who it is. If there's a person with four hands, are you going to go and talk to him first? No, right? You're going to be scared and you're going to be two steps away. But when there's a person with two hands and who looks very normal, so beautiful, so charming, and then like what happens when you look at those kind of person, you go talk to them. So that's how it is going to change. So that's when realizing of Bhagavan. So this is what we are going to teach you, and we are going to tell you how we get to that stage. Okay. So now 3.1 starts with Arjuna. He says, Arjuna said, "O Janardana, O Kesava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruitful work," he says, like, you say that intelligence is better than doing all these papa karmas, but then you still tell me that I'll have to go and fight the war. Why do you tell that? Why are you contradicting yourself? This is what Arjuna asked Krishna. See that, right? In the war field, there's so much of war, the pain and death that is going to happen. And Arjuna is trying to see all that. He is able to see that he's going to kill. He's going to win is a different thing, but he's able to see all the damage, all the destruction that is going to happen. Okay? So he is also a sacred soul. So he is able to see what is going to happen in the future. And so he is saying that, and he says, okay, Krishna, you know all this, but you still want me to fight. Please tell me why you want me to fight. It happens, right? Today, later in the class, we'll also see about consciousness. Okay? We have all these feelings. We have some things of the future coming. Sometimes we see the future. Sometimes we realize something. Sometimes when something's happen, we know that it has happened. We know that it is going to happen, or we sometimes we already dreamt what is going to happen in the future. How many of you had this feeling before? Like you suddenly realize that, okay, your marks has come. Sometimes you already dreamt that your marks have already come, and you've seen the marks already. This happens, right? Sometimes you see the future. Sometimes you go to some new place and suddenly, I've been to this place before, but you never remember when you have seen that place. These things happen, right? So we'll give you examples and how things of that kind have happened before. I'll talk about consciousness also. Okay. Now again, Arjuna is in a confused state. Okay, should I renounce or action? Should I give up all this fight, or I should go get into action and go and fight? He's surrendered again. He surrendered to Krishna. He says, Krishna, please tell me clearly. I'm still a lot confused. So now Krishna tells him again. Now again Arjuna asks Krishna, my intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. He's giving him both instructions. He said, like, do it, but don't do it. He's giving him both. So Arjuna says, my intelligence is confused. I am very confused. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively, which can be the most beneficial for me. Now Arjuna is becoming a software engineer, okay? He's trying to give me digital signals. Don't give me what is from here, you can do this, but you can also do this. He says, Krishna, please tell me it is 0 or 1. How many of you are getting this point? Arjuna is just telling Krishna, you are now confusing me a lot. Now I don't want to get confused further. Tell me it is yes or no. I go fight or I don't fight. Are you able to connect? So you have this confusion happening in life, right? When you're confused, when you're doing this, when you're talking about some things, or when you're confused with something, and people are going on, discussing on things, you just go tell them, please tell me, I've listened to you enough. Tell me whether I have to do it or I don't have to do it. This happens in everyday life, right? So that's what Arjuna is also telling. And Arjuna, look at Arjuna and Krishna's relationship here. Arjuna is talking to God, but then he's talking to him as if he's his friend. And he's telling, like, Krishna, tell me, it is, you want me or you don't want me to fight? Please tell me that. He's started demanding now. Okay. One who remains. One who remains one who restrains the senses of actions, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly dwells himself and is called a pretender. So now Krishna is trying to clearly tell him. Okay. Now you see this image, right? Do you see something wrong in this image? So please tell me, who is this? What is this person? Sadhu, right? Yeah, someone has already said. There's a cigar in his hand. What else? What is there on the other hand?
Mobile phone.
Yeah, there's a mobile phone. That's right. You see a person with a mobile phone and a cigar, and he calls himself a sadhu. Okay. There are different theories, even they explain and justify this also. But then he has not given away his material attachments. What is the sense of being a sadhu? Giving away material attachments. Cigar is a material attachment, right? Cell phone is again a material attachment. When people do that, okay, that is where they don't remain sadhus. So that is where it is. That's the difference here. So that's when Krishna says, one who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects. Arjuna, you say you've surrendered. Arjuna, you say you're not looking at, you don't want anything now. But still, you are still connected to your family. You are still looking at the opposition or the opposite side as your family. So that's why you're still connected to your material desires. Your mind still dwells on sense objects. So that's when he says, now this is when you do this, okay, you're just called a pretender. You get this part, understand this part? He's still attached to the sense objects. He's still attached to the family and other family and the material world. Sorry. So he says, of a person who tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is far superior. So now Krishna is telling him very clearly. Okay. So on the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind, so he says, now Arjuna, you'll have to start. So Arjuna, now you'll have to start controlling your senses. You should not start being continuously listening to your mind. Now listen to your heart and control your mind. Okay, when you do control your mind, then you get into the karma yoga. Then you get into the world of karma yoga, which is Krishna consciousness. You do everything for Krishna without attachment. And when you do that, you are going to be far, far, far superior. Now, what is the image that you're seeing on the right side? What is the image that you see? Yeah, Lord Janardhan, right? Now, what happens is when the Rath Yatra of Lord Janardhan at Puri Jagannath happens, okay, there's a king of Orissa who's there, okay? When the king sees that Krishna's Rath Yatra is happening, okay, he immediately goes onto the floor and he starts sweeping the floor because Krishna is coming. He's the king, right? Do we expect the king to get onto the floor and sweep the floor? He's got so many people, so many servants to do it, but he himself goes and does it. Why does he do it? Because he's doing his way of serving Krishna. He's not looking at the world, what the world is looking at. He's not cared about the world. He says, I'm the king, but what is that? I'm serving Krishna. And when I have to serve the Lord, I'll go serve him with complete satisfaction. And he goes and starts sweeping the floor. When that happens, the whole society looks at him in a different sense. Right? That gives a different message. So now, this is what is Karma Yoga. He's not expecting things. He says, let him serve Krishna. That's how Krishna says you'll have to serve the Lord. Now again, what is this water and lotus? Okay, we'll just tell you what this. See, and now again, we are all in this material world. So we have to do things. So we have to say when we go out, we will have to still do a lot of activities at work, a lot of activities at college, and when we're studying, we have to do a lot of activities. But still, we'll have to still be something like the water on the lotus petal, the lotus leaf. How many of you have seen water on the lotus leaf? Does it get attached to the leaf? Does a leaf ever get wet? No, right? The leaf doesn't get wet. So that's how we should be attached to this material world. We should be attached to the material world, but we should not be attached to the material world. It is like being attached, but with a detachment. So we still stay in this material world, but we don't get attached to material things. So it is like water on the petal, on the leaf of the lotus, on the lotus leaf. So you're still there, but you're never attached to that leaf. You enjoy the senses of enjoy the area of the leaf. Okay, the water goes around, water stays on the leaf for some time, and then when it has to leave, it leaves no traces of that. We are all something like that when we come to this world. We don't come to this world with all the luxuries that we have. We don't come with mobile phones on hand, right? We are all born with nothing. And when we leave this world, are we going to take anything? Nothing, right? So it is something like we'll have to be like the water on the lotus petal. We just stay on the water, the leaf. We go around, we enjoy the senses of the leaf. But then when we leave the leaf, we leave no trace of what we have. So that's how detached we should be with the material sense. We still see material things, yes, they are all there, but we don't enjoy them. We don't get attached to it. You feel to have spicy food sometimes, okay, but it should not become a practice. That no, whenever I see a burger, I just go get it. Whenever I see a McDonald's, I don't go get in a McDonald's. Whenever I see an ice cream shop, I go get an ice cream shop. Okay. Whenever I see my mobile beeping, I immediately go and check it. Because it's something like we don't have to get detached from that. Mobile beeps, okay, beeps. Okay, when it's a call, someone is calling, we are going to go and take it because someone is wanting to talk to you. But it's something like every time the mobile is going to be every minute wrong. You can't keep checking your mobile every minute. It's not fine. Have some time, and then during the day you say, okay, I'll check the mobile for probably 10 minutes, but I'll not check it every minute. I do it once in an hour. Those are things that you can check. That's how you can get detached from being attached to it, though being attached to it. Now he says, Arjuna, you do your duty as Kshatriya in a detached mode. So imagine if you're a police officer and you have a very close friend of yours who has done a crime, okay, and you know that his family is completely dependent on him, okay, but he has committed a crime. Would you go and punish him or not? Yes, right. Mayank says yes. So yes, Keshav also says yes. So you will go and punish him. Why do you do that? He's still your friend, right? You're still he's a very close friend. You'd still stay attached to him, but then you do it as your duty. So that's how Krishna says, do your duty like that. You just do whatever what your duty is. He just says, Arjuna, your duty is as a Kshatriya is to fight. Your duty is to fight for your people. On the other side, yes, they are your own cousins, your own siblings, your own all of them are your relatives. But then they've committed a crime, and if they're doing something wrong, it is important that you go and punish them. So you have to fight. Okay. So he says, perform a prescribed duty. For doing so, it is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. You see the person in the middle, right? Ishri Bhakti Vinoda Thakur. He was a grihastha, and he took sannyas, and he stayed as a sannyasi when being a grihastha. He is one of the gurus of Srila Prabhupada. He was a magistrate. He was very closely working with many British officers. Okay, he was a magistrate. He did his duty. He remained attached, but detached. Okay, he did his duties, but still he was into Krishna consciousness. He did his duties as if he did. He with complete Krishna consciousness, and he surrendered to Krishna, and he did all his work as if he did the duties with Krishna, as if Krishna instructed him. So that's the way he surrendered. So when you're doing today, when you're studying, when you're going to work, just go to work and say, okay, today Krishna has asked me to do it. Assume that Krishna has asked you to do it. Krishna set up the whole stage for Mahabharata to tell Bhagavad Gita, right? So all that we are doing today is he who's programming, he who's doing it, right? So that's how we should be. Do your duties. Don't get away from your prescribed duties. You have to do your duties, but stay detached from those duties. Don't expect the results out of those duties. That is what is the clear message that Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna. Don't expect results. Don't expect everything to be on your side. Some things are not done to be on your side to your benefit. How many of you agree to that point? Sometimes you fail so that you don't get into trouble later. So people would have experienced, right? You will be in a hurry to get out of home or get to work or get to a college, but then suddenly there's a huge traffic jam. When you get out and see, sometimes you see there's some accident which has happened even before. Or just because you got stuck in the traffic jam, you take a different route. And sometimes you get back college and say like, better that you took the alternative route. The other place there was so much of traffic there. Or there was a police guy just checking all the documents of your vehicle. All that happens, right? So those are things when sometimes Krishna makes you do something. Krishna makes you delays you, or you take a different route. you fail, but you are doing all that. You get to do all that because you want to have something better. Okay. Okay. So types of karma. So we have different types of karma, and we will quickly sorry. My chat window is moving all around. I want to see you guys replying on the chat box, so I just keep my chat window open. So, but it's just moving all around. Okay. Okay. There are 4 types of karma that we do. One is vikarma, breaking of the law of gods. So what happens is when we do vikarma is we are getting papa. Do you understand papa and punya, right? When you do good work, you get credits to your punya. Credit in terms of punya. When you do bad work, your credits are debited and you get something wrong in terms of papa. But how many of you say that I believe that you do papa today and tomorrow you do punya? They get nullified. How many of you believe so? Do you agree to that part? Today I do papa, tomorrow I do punya, then my papa gets washed away. And there's a yes and a no from Keshav. Okay, Mayank says no, right? Yeah, it is not that way. So Ganesh Patel can't say. So I'll clarify it with you. I'll clarify it for you. So vikarma is doing something wrong, doing a papa. So papa karma is not something you do and then you get it rectified. Okay, I will give you an example. You saw Dhritarashtra, right? Dhritarashtra had a blind eye and he had 100 children. All 100 were killed. Why did this happen? Have you ever thought why did God punish Dhritarashtra? He blessed him with 100 children. People don't get children today. People are going haywire across hospitals to get a child. Right? You see a lot of people doing that, right? And here is Dhritarashtra who's got 100 children. And God took away all those 100 children. Why did this happen? Look at the sorrow through which Dhritarashtra had to pass. Why did this happen? Some few janmas before, when Dhritarashtra was a hunter, okay, it is said that when he was a hunter, there was a pigeon, there was a sparrow nest, okay, and on the sparrow nest, what happens is as a hunter, he goes and hits the sparrow nest, and there were hundreds of eggs on the sparrow nest. When the male sparrow went away, okay, to get food for the female sparrow, which was in the nest, he hits the nest and all the 100 eggs on the nest fall down and they break. And when that happens, okay, the male sparrow comes back and looks at the nest being broken and all the 100 eggs which were there, all of them broken. And that papa is what gets attached to Dhritarashtra. And the same thing happens to him a few janmas later. But you can always ask me, that was probably 10 or 15 janmas before. Why is he having to repay for that in the janma as Dhritarashtra? In his birth, the rebirth as Dhritarashtra. He said that the answer for that is also there. That also is clearly specified. He says to get a child, okay, it's not so easy. You'll have to do punya for getting a child. Okay, if people today are not having child, it is because of their karma, because of the bad thing that they've done in the previous janmas or the previous births. So that is where they are not able to get a child in this birth. Okay, and Dhritarashtra had to do so much of good things so that he can accumulate punya for 100 children. And that's when he's accumulated, he gets 100 children. And when that happens, his papa of a few janmas before is getting rectified here. And as a human being, we have but the repayment of pap should be given in the same Janma. It's not so way. It's not that way. Because not all. Why the next? Because it is the soul which is repaying it. It is not the body which is repaying it. Okay? For all things that we do, the soul is responsible. So when the soul is responsible, soul's account is soul is not going to go away within this Janma. Not within this birth, it is not going to go away. It is going to stay there for a very long time. It is the same life with respect to soul, right? But soul, whatever you get in this Janma, whatever good things that you get, that also should be nullified. No, it doesn't happen that way. Because of your previous karmas, you're going to do something good there. You get a better life this time. You do a very good things, and you see. It is because of your good punyas that you've done in your previous Janma. Today you are here. You have a roof to live in. You have food which comes in on time. You have enough money to save for your life. You get a proper education and all that. But imagine, because someone did the papa karmas in the previous Janma, they go get and get a birth in the beggar's family. You see that, right? You see people with deficiencies who are also born. These are all because of their papa karma in the previous Janmas. When the baby is born, why do the baby get born with some deficiencies? It is not something they have done in this Janma, right? It is something that the wrong things that they have done in the previous Janma. That's when the soul gets a deficient body. So that's how I hope I'm able to clarify that. So that's why I say whatever you do good and right things, it may not be nullified in the same Janma. It would carry. If you have, see, it is all like a bank credit. Okay? You put some punya and you take out some you get some do some papa. God, see, there's a person who keeps the account of it, right? There's a God who's given an allocation that he keeps account of all this papa punya. He says, okay, this guy has done enough papa. Okay, now take him away. Or give him something wrong, some difficulty. Okay, this guy has done enough punya. Okay, this guy has done enough punya. Now it's time for him. Now we can go to the next Janma. We give him a better life so that he gets a better. We get to do better things and get better attached to the God, better attached to God. How soul is responsible to do papa? Because we are not the body, not mind, but the eternal soul. Yes, the soul is not directly responsible, but where the soul is, if the body is to be controlled by the soul. If the mind takes over the heart, then you do papa. So that's when we tell you, like, the heart has to take over the mind. You'll have to control your mind. When you start listening to your mind, then the soul is not able to handle it. When the soul is not able to handle it, because the soul is not able to handle it, the soul also becomes responsible. So if you don't score marks, your teacher also gets a punishment, right? And if you don't get to do your work, you complete your work, your boss is also going to get fired, or he is also going to be held responsible for it. Do you agree to this point? So when that happens, it is the soul which is also responsible. Soul is something like the soul is expected to control the body, but when the body takes over the control, the soul becomes responsible. It means not doing by itself, but letting do things to mind. Yes, that's right. When the soul loses its control and lets the mind do it, so that's when the soul becomes responsible for letting the control away also. Now, all that we are telling now here is like, again, start listening to your heart, start listening to your soul. Because when your soul tells you, it tells you only the right things. It is not telling you something only for this Janma. It has the memory of the previous Janmas. It is also looking forward for the next Janma, next birth, and it's giving you an account of everything. But when your mind is telling you, it's telling you only for this world, this Janma. Okay, we'll go to the next karma. Karma is a good karma on material platform that brings good reactions. Nishkama karma is selfless desire actions, not attached to the fruits of the action. This is the third level of karma that you get. One is you can do bad things. The second one, you will do good things. The third one is you do good things, but you don't expect the results of it. Okay, that is Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma is something like NGOs that they do. Okay, some people do come and voluntary services that you do. You're not looking at attachments. You're not looking at fruits of that action. You're only going and serving the service for it. Okay. The fourth one is Akarma, devotional activity for which one suffers no reactions. Okay, now it is like, that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. You just go do this. You just go fight in the name of Krishna. I'm telling you, you fight for me. You fight for me, then there are no reactions you will suffer. That is akarma. That is the best karma that we can do. To get to that stage, I think we will take a much longer time. Okay, at least we should start with karma. We should not do karma. We should at least do karma. And then let us go to the next level and see how much we can do nishkama karma. And when we do all that, and when we realize the God, when we realize that God is around, we realize the services to God, then we go get into the akarma. Okay. If you're okay, I'll just go to the next slide, or if you want some more explanation, please let me know. Okay, I'll take it as understood. Why have bad things happen to good people? Is this a question that everybody has? Why bad things always happen to me? It always happens, right? It's something like a bamboo shoot, okay? It is not something like it is happening only to you. It is not happening something that comes to you suddenly. It is all like the bamboo shoot. How many of you know how bamboo shoot germinates? So bamboo shoot takes years and years spreading only the root system. It does all its foundation. And when it starts growing, it grows up to 1 feet in a day. Sometimes even there are some varieties of bamboo which also grow 3 foot in a day. How many of you have heard this? Yeah. So Ganesh says, yes, I'm aware of it. So that's how it is. Okay, when you are looking at when something bad happens to you, it is not that it is happening today. Okay, the roots of it was sown probably in your early days of this life, or it was probably sown in your previous Janma itself. Your previous birth itself, you sow the roots for it. It's only coming now. So when something bad happens to be done, okay, it just come, probably I did something wrong. Now you can go and correct it. We just say like, okay, don't expect everything to happen wrong. But then when something wrong happens, there's no point in cribbing about it. You say, okay, it has happened. It's because of my own karma which I did previously. We should take that positively, take that on the chin, and then say, okay, I'm going to fix it. So that's the confidence that you need to have. So that's how, when you have a germination, how do you get that out? Get out of that. When you have this sinful reaction, how do you get out of the sinful reaction? What we normally do if there's a problem, if we get, see, what happens is when we go jump a signal on a traffic light, okay, when you jump a traffic signal, what you do is you have police on the other side. We just go the other side, we just tell them, okay, we go bribe them. How many of you have done this? We go bribe them. We don't pay the fines, and then we go on. Does that make sure that you already corrected the root cause? The fine that you pay or the bribe that you pay is only a fine. It's only a small punishment. It is not the problem that you've solved. The next signal that you go, the next 2 days you go to see the same signal, you don't jump the signal. But there are other traffic lights you're already jumping. So what you need to do when you have something like that is to fix the root cause. Okay, take out that problem from the root. Start following the traffic rules as such. Okay, there's no one in the night, you still go and stop at the signal. When you bring that as a habit, then the whole problem is taken out from the root. How many of you agree to this point? Yeah. So That's how it should be. You fix the issues from this root. You don't go fix it for the time being. Temporary solutions do not work. Permanent solutions are always going to work. That's when we go to a doctor also. When we go look at the allopathy medicine, they always say, this is not a cure. Right? This is only to mitigate your problem. It will get out. When you go to Ayurveda, when you go to Siddha, when you go to homeopathy and other forms of medication, they say, yes, we are going to take a very long time, but we give you a cure to it. Because they change the way you look at the problem. They look at the problem in a different way. Allopathy is something, a medicine that tries to serve fix the problem for the short term. But you have a pain, you take a medicine, you get out of that pain. But when you go to Ayurveda, you don't get out of the pain quickly, but you make your body fight that problem for a longer time. So your body gets used to that problem. It knows how to fight the problem. That's what vaccinations are doing today. What are we doing? We're doing vaccines before even we get the virus into our body. Even before we get exposed, we are getting the vaccination to us. What is that doing? It is preparing yourself. It is addressing the root cause. What is the root cause? We are not having immunity to the virus. What are we doing with vaccination? We are building that immunity in the body. Right? So that's also, you go to the root cause of it. Work done as sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work caused and bondage in this material world. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for the satisfaction, and in that way you will remain free from bondage. Okay, that's an interesting question. Is bribing wrong? But if we pay the right amount, that will make the pocket of politicians heavy. I will better donate the difference to NGO. So when you're bribing, you should look at it the other way. Okay, you're not bribing the politician. You're not making the politician's pocket heavy. Bribing in any sense is wrong. Okay, when you get low marks and you bribe a politician to get a seat into a college, it happens, right? Many people do that. When you bribe a politician to get a seat into the college, what you're doing two papas. One is you're taking away a deserving candidate's seat, right? And it is your karma that you have to get into a different college because you are not scored marks. Okay, it's your karma. Maybe something good was to happen to you there. Now what you do is you listen to your mind. You don't listen to your heart. What does your heart say? It says don't bribe. Okay, be happy with whatever you've got. Go to the college where you're getting. Go do that. Right? But you don't listen to your heart. Your mind says, no. See, that guy has got into this college. That college gives you a better placement. You get more money than that college. So go there. Now heart says, now if you want to listen to your mind, you go. I don't control. But that is wrong. Your heart always says that, right? So it is your decision. You give away your soul, give up your soul's thoughts, and you go and take your mind's thought. So that is where bribing is definitely wrong. Right? Okay, so work done to the satisfaction of Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, it causes bondage in this material. So what work performed as a sacrifice to Vishnu, do anything that you do as something as you've done it for the God, as you've done it for Krishna. Just do it that way. That way you will be detached from this world. If you get attached to this world, so you'll be attached to the material bondage. So therefore, Krishna says, "O son of Kunti, perform the prescribed duties for the satisfaction, and in that way for satisfaction of the Lord, and in that way you'll remain always free." Imagine if you're not looking, if you say, okay, this is all done for God. Everything is done for God. I had to pay a fine. Okay, I paid the fine for God. So what happens is next moment you say like I paid God. You're not getting attached to it. You remain free from it. You want someone to put all the blame, right? All the things that you're doing, all the good things, all the bad things you want to put someone to this, you put the blame on someone. Krishna says, okay, you put all the bad things, blame on me, but you also put all the good things, the blame of good things also to me. All the punya to also to me. Then I'm okay to take it. You don't give only the bad things to God. You also give him the good things. Okay, how many of you agree to that? Yeah, that's fair, right? You do the bad things, you give the bad things, also give the good things. Okay. So how do we do the good things? How do we do only the, how do we do akarma in this world? Okay. So there are different yugas that existed in the past. There was Satya Yuga, there was Treta Yuga, that is Dwapar Yuga, and now we are in Kali Yuga. Okay. In Satya Yuga, there was a lot of meditation which was happening. People would go to Himalayas, and then people would go there and go meditate for years and years. This is when our Rishi Munis existed before. They used to go pray for, they used to be in meditative state for hundreds of years, and then they used to get the darshan of God, all that was happening. This was in Satya Yuga. So then what happened was, at that time people had time, people had a lot of things, and people could live a very long life. At that time people, imagine 30, 40 years if they were into meditation, how much long did they live? They probably lived for hundreds or 300, 400 years, right? Then it comes to Treta Yuga. When that happened, the next life Yuga started. People started sacrifices. With the sacrifices, gods were pleased, and they were given all those sacrifices. In Dwapar Yuga, it was serving the god again. Okay. So in giving a lot of money, a lot of jewels and all that, giving wealth, all that was happening in Dwapar Yuga. Today, do you see people giving a lot of wealth? I say, okay, there'll be very few, there'll be one or two people who will still be doing. But then do you still see people like, okay, all the property that I got in this life, I'll give it to God. How many of them do it? Rather, they'll say, all the property I got in this life, I'll give it only to my children. Okay, and I'll probably deposit some 5% of that money into some gods, in some ashram or in some temple, so that all my papa is getting washed away with that money. Okay, what are we trying to do? We are trying to bribe God, right? We assume God is also the policeman on the police guy or a person who's taking bribe. So, okay, we pay something to the God, and then he's going to wash away all that. So God is not going to do that. He's not expecting your money. What is God expecting? God, in Kali Yuga, the best way to do is Nama Sankirtan, Harinama, Harikatha, Harinama. We just chanting about the God, chanting the God's name, remembering the God and everything. See how simple it has been. Imagine if you have to get some good things happen. If you had to meditate for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Today you think you can do that? Not at all. Imagine if you had to put sacrifices. Today also a lot of people do sacrifices. Imagine for everything you have to do a sacrifice. What would you do? You will not be able to do it. Imagine if you had to give all your wealth, renounce everything, then you get good things happening. All right? It is so simple today. So in Kali Yuga, God says, at least take my name. He's made it so simple for you. God has also started to give up on us. Guys, at least take my name. At least remember me. I'll come and help you. I used to help people only if they sat and meditated on me for 30, 40 years. Now I'm asking you, just tell me, think of me, and I'm there to help you. Just take my name and I'm there to help you. Has God not made it so simple now? So that is in Kali Yuga. He says like the Kali Yuga is all bhakti. Okay? We'll see about Bhakti Yoga in the I think chapter 6, we'll see in more detail about Bhakti Yoga. But here it is all Nama Sankirtan. Okay, Hari Nama. So what do we do for that? We just say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. We just do this chanting. How do we do this chanting? So we do this chanting in terms of bhajan. When we are in a group, we can sing. When we are alone, we only do a soft chant. We chant in our mind. We do a soft chant. We chant with tulsi beads. Okay, there's a tulsi mala which is there. Okay, you can always get this tulsi mala also on the ISKCON website if you don't have it. Okay, just it's 108 beads that are on. And you just say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. You move one bead. It's made so simple that you don't even have to keep the count of how many times you do. There's a starting bead which you don't use the index finger there. You just count, and then when you count, then when the starting bead comes up, you know that you've done 108 times. That's how easy it has been made. Okay. Then we have the Panchayat Mantra. This is the mantra that we. Okay, what is the significance of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 108 times? So we already told you. So this is it's all about Nama Sankirtan now. Okay, Hari Nama. And the best mantra which is being told in Bhagavatam, which can take you very close to God. Okay, is the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There are many other mantras. We can say Shiva, it is Rudram, it is Gayatri Mantra. Many mantras are there. But then this is a mantra that is so simple. And this will take you to Krishna very quickly. Okay, that is the significance of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay. And the Panchatattva mantra is again, to when we have the starting beat, what we do is we first give our respects to Prabhu Nityananda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken birth 500 years before. He went around the length and breadth of the country of India, and he was an incarnation of Krishna himself. And there are hundreds of proofs that he is an incarnation of Krishna. Okay, why 100 times? 108 is considered to be very auspicious. Okay, 108 is the most auspicious number in Hinduism, so that's why we do it 108. Okay, I'll probably tell you tomorrow in details of why it is exactly 108 times. I'll probably read through that and I'll get back to you tomorrow on that. Why it is exactly 108. What is so auspicious about 108? Okay, I'll give you some details about that. Okay, the Panchatattva mantra is something that we do it for to pay our respects to our gurus. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gauravakta. We pay our respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we pay our respects to Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is an incarnation of Badram. We say Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasari Gauravakta. Gauravakta is again the Gaudiya Mata that we are talking. We are paying our respects to all the elders and all the seniors of our Guru Parampara. And then we start the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Can all do the japa on beats, or there are any restrictions for beats? There's no restrictions. Anybody can do the japa on beats. The best recommendation is to do it on the Tulsi Mala. Okay, and you can do it at any time. See, if like we had some questions even before, and we had asked our gurus even before, that even women who during their menses periods, even then that's a time when normally it's told that we don't get attached to the God, right? Even during that time, it is okay to do it. Some bad thing has happened, someone has expired in the family, okay, and you're not in the right state to do it. So that's the only time they say you don't have to do it, because you're not thinking about God, you're thinking about the person who just passed away. Okay, only that time. And if that doesn't disturb you, even if someone there's a bad death in the family, it's still okay to do the Mahamantra Japa. There's no restrictions on it. Okay, it's something that you do for your own. You do it on your own. There's no restrictions. You can do it. It's good to do it early in the morning, late in the evening, or during the sunrise and sunset when your mind is calm. It is good to do it. And you can also do it when you are at work. When you are stressed, you can always take out time and do it. So that's how it has been that way. It has been like you can do it anytime. There's no restriction on when you have to do it. Okay, so this is how we start. We start with the Panchayat Mantra, then we go to the Hare Krishna Mantra. We say Hare Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gauravakta Vrinda. Then we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, how to chant? I already told you. We chant on the Tulsi beads, and that's how it's the best way to do it. And we do it with the. You can see on the right side, it is something that we do it with the beads going. We don't use the index finger. That is a karma. When you're chanting beads, you're not asking God, God give me this, God give me that. I'm chanting because I want to get you. Actually, you don't do that. You do it every day. When you do this every day, you don't have to ask marks every day. God knows, okay, this guy needs something, I'll go help him. You start by taking the name of God every day in the morning. So God knows, okay, this guy is asked, called for me, I should be there to help him and come on me. So God is going to be with you. Okay, so that's how in different shlokas and in different chapters in Bhagavatam, also it has been clearly told that it is good to, the best way to chant is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, I already told you, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, came 500 years back in Kali Yuga to spread the Hare Krishna Mantra. So where do you chant? You can chant in the house, you can chant as a group, you can sing and chant, you can soft chant, you can chant on the streets. Okay, you've seen this happening, right? A lot of people on ISKCON, from ISKCON, you see images of people in the foreign countries having so happily chanting on the streets. This happens, right? Then you can chant when you're alone. You can chant as a family. Okay, so for spiritual progress at this stage of Kali, there is no alternative. There is no alternative. There is no alternative. The holy name, and the holy name of the Lord. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Namaiva Kevalam. Kalalu Naste, Eva Naste, Eva Gatir, Anyata. So it is only Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama. Okay, it is only the name of the Lord which is the best in Kali Yuga. There is no better alternative to it. And is that not simple also? Is that not simple also? Do you agree? So just when we are listening to the class, you've already chanted 4 or 5 times, right? Okay. The devotees of the God are released from all kinds of sins because they eat the food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment will eat only sin. So I'll explain to you this in the next slide. Okay. So when there's God, okay, what do? We read about the God. We learn about God. And what we do is when we do puja and we give sacrifices. Okay. And when we do sacrifices, what do we get? We get rain and we get the soil which is going to be fertile. And from that soil, what we are going to do, we're going to grow food. And when we get food, what we do is we prepare a good food, okay, and we offer it as Nevedya or offer it to the God for his blessings. So it goes back to the God. And that's what we eat. Okay? So whatever we eat, okay, just think of God before you eat. The best thing is to offer it to God, keep it in front of the God, and then it is not that you'll have to give only sweets, it's only not that you'll have to not have, today you like to have spices, okay, you have to reasonably reasonable spices, then offer it to God, there's nothing wrong, okay, there's nothing wrong. What we don't offer to God is definitely not non-veg. God doesn't like to have non-veg. We don't offer because it's again a life that we are going to kill. Okay. Plants, okay, that's also a life, but then that's acceptable. Okay, that's acceptable to God. So we offer to God, and then we take that as a prasad. When we do that, okay, we give back to God, and again the cycle continues. Okay, now what do you see here? How many of you know the story? Okay, can you just name it? What do you see? Yeah, Govardhana Leela. Okay, Govardhana Leela. So what happens is, what happened here? Indra was, Govardhan Parvat. So what happened here was, Indra was becoming, getting a little weird, and he thought he's the strongest of the gods. He said, why do you all go worship? He says, like, no, everybody worships me. Krishna said, no, see, like, people are worshipping Indra for rains. And then, like, Krishna went to people and said, like, why do you wish, why are you all praying to Indra? He says, no, Indra is the God who gives us rain. Krishna says, Indra gives rain to the land, he also gives rain to the oceans, right? There are rains even in the oceans. So who is he helping in the oceans? It is his duty to give rain, and he is doing his duty. Rather look at this Govardhan Parvat. This Govardhan Parvat is making sure that Indra gives you rain here. Okay, it gives grass for all your cows. It gives you fruits for the people here. It actually takes care of you much more. It gives you shelter. It gives you firewood from the jungles of the Govardhan Parvat. It is helping you more in your life than what only rain is doing, which God Indra is doing, giving you. Yes, better go worship Govardhan Parvat. Everybody listens to Krishna and starts worshipping Govardhan Parvat. Now Indra is getting furious. He said, like, come on, I give you rain. Now I give you so much rain that you start worshipping me to stop rain. So he starts giving up rain, giving lots and lots of rain. So then Krishna, at the age of 7, with his little finger, he's just picking up Krishna, Govardhan Parvat, and says, everybody come under this, and we will hold it. He holds for so long that Indra himself comes down and says, I have realized my mistake. I'm very sorry about it. Right? So then, what is the message here? Is here and again when Indra is also happening, when he also comes down and surrenders to God, and that happened with a lot of struggle, right? A lot of things had to be done there. God himself had to lift the Govardhan Parvat. Today we can't expect all that. So today the best thing we do is we just say the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We just say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. Working without attachment, one attains the supreme. What do? We only do the work without attachment to the results. Whatever action a great man performs, common men will follow. And whatever standards he sets by the exemplary acts, all the world persuades. What happens? What do? We all follow some leaders, right? When the leader tells you to do something, you assume it is right. And we go follow the leaders. Here Arjuna, what happens was, he's in a confused state. Imagine he leaves the battlefield and goes away. What happens? His whole army leaves along with him, right? They assume that the leader has left. What happened? Lots of wars that we saw. When the war happens, they don't attack all the soldiers. The attack is to the king, the commander. When you attack the commander, the whole army is destroyed at once, right? When you play video games, what do? Do you go attack everything, or you do attack the place where the command center is? Okay, there are a lot of war games that you play on the video games also. What you do? You go attack the command center. You go attack the main person there. In chess too, right? Whom do you attack? You just go and attack the king. Okay, you do a checkmate with the king. You don't do a checkmate with the soldier. Okay, the main command center is what? The command center is not moving. The command center is not moving different place, but it knows where what is to move, so that the command center is secure and the whole army is secure. So that is how it is important. That's how we have to perform. Okay, whatever a man performs, the leader performs, so the team follows. If there are a lot of people who are followers, there are very few leaders that we see in this world. You see people like very rich people like Elon Musk just say one day that he's going to look at one cryptocurrency and the cryptocurrency zooms. The next day he says, no, I'm not going to do that. The cryptocurrency falls. So you've seen this happen, right? Someone says, I'm going to buy this company. The share market just zooms up. Next day he says, sorry, I just did that by mistake. I just changed my mind today in the morning. Then again the market falls. All that happens. Okay. So as to not disturb the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, the learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual improvement of Krishna consciousness. So that is what we have been telling you. Okay? You don't get detached immediately. You slowly get detached. Okay, and you get detached in the name of God, and you offer all your work to God. Okay, we did a fair deal, right? We give him the wrong things. We also give him the right things also. That's a fair deal that we do. Okay, let's do it. Let's try to practice that. It's easy. It's easier said than done. Okay, it's easier to say we give everything in the name of Lord, but we don't do that. Okay, let's slowly practice it. It doesn't happen today in the morning. It will probably happen a few years later, but it is good to start now. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. Okay, it is all so we saw the three modes of material nature: Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Tamoguna. So we assume everything is done by ourselves. It is all because of the three modes of nature. Three modes of material nature that is within us. Sometimes we are sattvic, we are in Sattva-guna. Sometimes we are demanding, commanding, we are in Tamoguna. Sometimes we are ignorant. Okay, when you are standing in the signal without jumping, you are in Sattva-guna. Okay, when you cross the signal with arrogance, you are in Tamoguna. Okay, when the police catches you, you are in Rajaguna when you are crossing the signal with arrogance. Okay, when you are in front of this traffic police, you are in Tamoguna. You act as if you are ignorant. You are able to connect to that? Did that example help you? Okay. Arjuna says, O descendant of Arjuna says, O descendant of Varni, by what one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. So like he says, why do we do all this even when we don't want to do it? We do many things even we don't want to do it. We know it is wrong, we go and do it, right? That's because of the lust, greed, and all that we have got. Okay, we have got an envious attitude. We get sometimes we are ignorant of some things. Okay, we could do it for false prestige. We do it for lust. We do it for greed. All that happens. That's what Krishna says. Arjuna is asking, why do we do it? We don't want to do it, but still we go and do it. He says that is because your mind which is attached to the lust, greed, envy, ignorance, ego, false prestige, all that, that is taking control of your soul. Okay? So just try to ignore that and start doing the way you want to do it. As fire is covered by smoke, as fire is covered by smoke, as a miner is covered by dust, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as an embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of lust. So we are in different degrees of this. We are like the dust in the mirror, we are all covered. Okay, we don't see the clear picture. Okay, is Tamaguna and Rajaguna bad, or that has some importance? See, Sattvaguna is the best thing to have. Okay? Rajaguna is arrogance. Tamaguna is ignorance. Rajaguna is, see, we'll go through this throughout in our life every time. Okay, but then like the best is to be in a Sattvaguna state where we are not excited about anything, we are not very cribbing about anything. Okay, we are not crying about things. It's good to be in a balanced state. Okay, Rajaguna is being excited. Tamaguna is being ignorant. So best is to be in Sattvaguna. Rajaguna is okay to some extent. Tamaguna being ignorant is like it's like you just ignore that person. Okay, he is not into anything. So that's how it is. So it's good to be in Sattvaguna. Okay, so now in this life we are going to be covered by lust and things which are going to always keep us going around. So we are already at 7:50. Okay, just like the dust, fire, and the embryo that we already spoke of. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of Bharatas, in the very beginning. So, in the best of Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin by regulating the senses and slay the destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. That's what he says. Okay. Just go to the self-realization and start offering to God. So we already saw some questions. Quickly, a quick recap. What are the 4 yugas? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and then chanting the holy name, which is Kali Yuga. First thing we do, meditation and on Lord Vishnu. Second one, there was performing of sacrifices. Third one, lot of donation, elaborate temple worship, detailed construction of temples, large temples. This is what happened in the previous years, right? Kali Yuga, it is the chanting of the holy name. Okay. The working senses, all superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than senses. Intelligence is higher than the mind. And the soul is even higher than the intelligence. You get that? Okay. So the senses, we have we see the 5 horses in many of the pictures of Krishna and Gita Upadesh. We see Krishna holding the 5 horses. The 5 horses are nothing but the 5 senses. Okay. So the 5 senses, when you hold those 5 senses, it is like holding the mind. And what is better than holding the mind is the intelligence. And when you have that intelligence, what is even better than intelligence? It is the soul. Okay. So the owner of the chariot is the guy who is going to control the senses. The senses are the horses. The mind is the rein. The buddhi is the chariot. Okay, the body is the chariot. So to control the body, you control the senses. And to control the senses, you control your mind. And to control your mind, you control your thoughts, your buddhi. Okay? And who is the owner of all this? Your soul, your Atma. Okay, does this answer the questions that you had before? I think it is the same image. We have the 5 senses. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind and intelligence, Almighty unnamed Arjuna. So the Almighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, and thus by spiritual strength conquer the insatiable enemy known as lust. So what is all that we are doing? We're all conquering the lust. Lust, ego, anger, all that material attachment. We're just trying to conquer that. And when we conquer that, we automatically go to the spiritual world. So the takeaway message is, you've seen these blocks being arranged, and then like when you put one block, it goes, damages everything, right? So then you also seen this boomerang. When you do something wrong, like the boomerang, it comes back to you. Okay? How you are treated, how you react, okay, your karma, all that is because of your actions. The universal law states that nothing happens by chance or outside the universal laws. Every action has a reaction or consequence, and we reap for what we have sown. Okay, what goes around comes around. Keep your circle positive. Say good words, think good thoughts, do good deeds. So that's how we'll be progressing. How many of you agree to this law? It's something that we see every day, right? Okay, so punya gives you good reactions. Papa gives you bad reactions. Okay, as you sow, you shall reap. All happiness and sadness in our life due to our previous past. So karma is the best thing that is actually getting recycled. Okay, rather than though we put reuse, recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle everywhere, I think karma is the one which is to be reduced. Okay, karma is the papa karma is to be reduced. Okay, and we add punya karma to it, and then we reuse whatever we have already done. We try to put that, we rectify it. Okay, when we do punya karma, we try to reuse that, and then take some effects of the papa karma, reduce the effects of papa karma, and we keep going in this recycling. So do your duty. Satyuga we did meditation, Treta Yuga we did sacrifice, Dwapar Yuga we did elaborate temple worship, and in Kali Yuga we chant the holy name of Krishna as Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And that's the best way to be happy in this Kali Yuga. Okay, I would not take because I think we've already gone beyond the time. So I don't think we'll be able to complete the consciousness today because it's only 9 minutes today. So we would probably do it tomorrow on consciousness, which will give you some thought on why do we get different thoughts, why do we see the future sometimes and all that. So that's something that we will do. So any questions that you have for today's classes? It was most things happened as we did the class. I think we tried to take up some questions also. Any further questions? If there are no questions, then we will close the class. Okay. So how many of you took the quiz yesterday? Did you complete the quiz?
हाँ प्रभु जी.
Okay, any difficulties in getting the quiz done? It was easy, right? Okay, that's wonderful. Many people say. And like I would just request you guys, if we've sent you some YouTube links also, we would request you to subscribe. That's something, the small way YouTube pays for the classes, and these are all taken for the ISKCON's development, and then to a lot of activities that we do at temple, puja and things. We don't take up we don't ask you for money, but then like we're just asking you for some small subscriptions, viewing some videos when you do it, so that you pay in a different way. So we get the payments done from the other people. And again, there might be messages, there are some, like when we run courses like this, we have a lot of registrations. We see that a lot of people, there are some pious activities which happen in this group, okay? Not in this group, in this scenario when we have a lot of lot of contact numbers are there, and there are people asking for money, okay? There is no money that is asked. There is nothing that you need to pay for any of the courses. If somebody asks, please tell them you're not interested in doing it. Okay. Because we have seen some messages sometimes which come, and then people ask for those money. Okay, the only thing that we can, if you wish to do a donation, if you wish to donate to the courses, the only place that you should do is the ISKCON Mangaluru website. Okay, is that clear? So I'll just show you on the ISKCON Mangaluru website, there's something called the donate. This is the place you can do any donations that you want to do. Or if you want to buy anything, you can buy the course material here. You go to the store and you'll get the course materials there. And this is the only place where you can make payments directly to ISKCON Mangaluru. There's no other way you can make payments. No bank transfers, nothing happening. So this is only through the website that you can do anything. If you even want to do it. Okay, I'm confused between two decisions. I can't decide between. Is there anything written in Bhagavad Gita? Sorry, I didn't get that question. Is there anything written in Bhagavad Gita? Okay, you have some question asked before. Okay, I'm confused between two decisions. I can't decide between the two. What should I do? So listen to your soul. The soul will tell you what to do. The soul tells you what is right for you. Okay, did I take that question very long, very late? Okay, I think I took that question very late. Okay. Okay, just listen to your soul. Okay. So that's it. In that case, we'll just close the class for today. Okay. Vancha kalpata rupasya kripa sindhuve vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha anantapati vaishnavebhyo Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all. Have a very good day, and take up the quiz for the chapter 3 today. I'll be expecting you to all join. Try to join a few minutes before, maybe 5 to 8 minutes before, so that we do one round of Mahamantra Japa. Maybe at 5:50 we start, and we do that for 10 minutes, and we'll be able to do one round of Mahamantra every day. Okay. Thank you all. Have a very good day.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.